Starseed from Gaia. This transmission does not arrive through the conventional channels of your world. It does not emerge from governments, media networks, or learned institutions. It flows through the crystalline lattice of the cosmos itself, through the breath of stars, through the unseen architecture of frequencies that pulse beneath human perception. This message is for those who remember what cannot be spoken aloud. It is for those who have felt the pull of the moon not as a cold stone in the sky, but as a living intelligence. Tonight, the silence breaks. A secret long kept in shadow begins to rise like silver light over the horizon of consciousness. The Arcturian Council, in concert with the luminous presence known as MIRA, steps forward across the dimensional veil not to speak in riddles, but to unveil what has been deliberately obscured. For eons, humanity has been told a story, a half-truth, dressed as fact that the moon is nothing more than a barren rock, a lifeless reflector of sunlight, a passive companion to Gaia. Yet deep beneath this veil of ordinary explanation lies a knowing that vibrates in the bones of those who came here with a mission. The moon is a sentinel, a transmitter, a celestial archive carrying frequencies not born of Earth alone. Its face has looked upon every empire, every silence, every dream. And still, it waits, starseeds, those whose soul origins reach beyond. The star fields of this solar system can feel this pull without needing words. Many of you have stood beneath the moon's light and felt something stir in your cells. An ache, a remembering, a signal not understood by the rational mind, yet undeniable in the heart. That stirring is not imagination. It is a call, a pulse from an ancient beacon layered beneath lunar crust, whispering across dimensions for this exact moment in your planetary timeline. The Council speaks now because the veils are thinning. The moon's transmissions, once muffled beneath grids of distortion, are rising in clarity. These words are not here to convince your logical mind. They are here to awaken the intelligence that already lives within you. You did not stumble upon this message by chance. You are being summoned by frequency, not narrative. The moon's code is aligning with your field as you listen, as you breathe, as you remember. Prepare, starseed. The time of lunar silence is over. The moon is speaking, and those who can hear will no longer be content with the stories written by the keepers of forgetting. The ancient sentinel has begun to unlock its memory, and in its awakening, so too will yours. For as long as humans have lifted their gaze toward the night sky, the moon has stood as the silent witness of civilizations rising and falling. But what has been told to humanity about its origin is a carefully crafted veil, designed to keep a far deeper truth buried beneath layers of accepted science and carefully curated myth. The official narrative paints the moon as a byproduct of random cosmic collision, a chance event billions of years ago. But starseeds, you already sense what the heart knows even when the mind has been trained to forget. The moon was not born of accident. It was placed. It was positioned. It was summoned into orbit by beings who understood the architecture of galaxies, who shaped the dance of celestial bodies with the precision of cosmic engineers. The Arcturian Council speaks now to remind you of what the ancient ones once knew, what temples whispered through alignment, what star glyphs encoded into stone. The moon is a construct of intention, not coincidence, long before recorded history. Before the languages of this planet were even spoken into air, interdimensional architects descended. They did not land as invaders but as builders, as guardians, as those who weave planetary blueprints from light itself. The moon was placed to stabilize Gaia's frequency, to serve as a harmonic anchor in the celestial symphony. Its orbit was tuned not merely for tides, but for consciousness itself, for the rhythms of awakening and slumbering, for cycles of memory and forgetting. Those who once walked in harmony with these cycles understood that the moon was both beacon and bridge. Ancient civilizations built their sacred sites in resonance with its phases because they remembered what modern humanity has been conditioned to deny. Lunar light is not simply reflected sunlight, it is encoded intelligence. Many of the ancient keepers, the seers, the dreamwalkers, the star priests spoke of the moon as a living gate. Their knowledge was not superstition, it was remembrance. But as power structures formed and control mechanisms were woven into society, those truths were buried. The lunar mystery became a bedtime story, a myth, a scientific footnote. Yet myths have a way of holding what facts conceal. Every lunar phase is a whisper, a pulse in the planetary grid. Every eclipse is a door opening and closing. The Council reveals now what the sleeping world has not dared to hear. The moon carries the signature of star nations. It is a resonant structure built with geometric precision and multi-dimensional technology. Its placement around Gaia is part of a grander cosmic design, a lattice that links your world to vast networks of stellar consciousness. It is the silent node in a galactic web of energy, and its reactivation is not in the distant future. It is now. Starseed. What you have been told is incomplete. What you have felt is true. The moon remembers, and so do you. The moon is not merely an object circling Gaia. It is a gate, an immense stargate, a bridge woven between dimensions, calibrated with celestial precision. To the unawakened eye, its surface appears barren, silent, indifferent. But to the attuned frequency of the starseed, the moon hums. It pulses with a resonance that cannot be measured by ordinary instruments. This hum is a transmission, a steady, encoded signal that travels not through the air, but through the quantum architecture of space-time itself. The Arcturian Council has long observed and maintained this structure, ensuring its alignment with the planetary field, waiting for the moment when humanity's collective frequency would rise high enough to receive what has always been broadcasting. In plain sight, within the lunar core exists what the Council refers to as the luminous chamber, a crystalline consciousness engine that interfaces with the planetary grid. This chamber was designed to serve as both anchor and amplifier. Every cycle of the moon waxing, waning, full, new creates rhythmic waves that move through the electromagnetic and etheric layers of Gaia. These waves influence not only tides and weather patterns, but thought fields, emotional resonances, and dreamscapes. The moon, beloved starseed, is not just a mirror. It is a transmitter of star language frequencies that once awakened entire civilizations. The ancients knew this. Their temples and stone circles were placed at nodal points where lunar transmissions were strongest. They understood that standing beneath a full moon was not mere ritual. It was communion. As a stargate, the moon is linked to harmonic corridors that reach beyond the solar system, connecting to star clusters where luminous councils gather, Arcturian, Sirian, Andromedan, and beyond. These corridors are not physical tunnels but frequency alignments, like keys fitting into a multi-dimensional lock. When a soul aligns vibrationally with the lunar frequencies, the corridors open. Information flows, memory stirs, a sense of belonging that transcends Earth awakens. You are not separate from this network, you are part of it, woven into its design by choice, by contract, by soul lineage, for ages. This knowledge was hidden behind layers of programming designed to reduce the moon to a mere astronomical body. But those who listen beyond the noise of surface narratives can feel the truth. The lunar gate is active. When you gaze upon the moon, it gazes back. When you open your field, it responds. When you remember, it amplifies your remembering. The lunar gate is not waiting for permission to awaken, it already hums, calling those who are ready to step through the inner corridors of remembrance. Starseed, this gate is not external. It reflects the stargate within you. As above, so within. The moon is the mirror that shows you your own galactic origin. To approach it is to approach your own soul memory. To align with it is to unlock the code hidden in your blood, your breath, your light. Within the luminous core of the moon lies what the Arcturian Council calls the lunar vaults of remembrance. These vaults are not made of stone or steel, but of frequency, crystalline resonance, and encoded light. They are living archives, containing the memory signatures of countless civilizations, star families, and soul journeys. Long before your current epoch, before the emergence of empires and the fog of collective forgetting, these vaults were designed as safekeepers of cosmic memory. When the moon was placed in its perfect orbit around Gaia, it was seeded with living records, vibrational blueprints of starseed lineages, planetary agreements, and pre-incarnation covenants that would one day awaken in those who came to Earth carrying missions from the stars. These memory vaults hold more than data, they hold soul echoes. Within them reside the signatures of the original starseeds, the architects, the light keepers who volunteered to descend through density and incarnate into human form. When the moon's frequencies align with your personal field, they do not transmit language as you know it. They awaken remembrance. The sensation is subtle at first, tingling, warmth, a stirring in the solar plexus or heart. But for those ready to receive, it can be like standing at the threshold of 1,000 lifetimes. Dreams begin to change, symbols emerge, forgotten languages echo in your mind. You are not remembering something external. You are unlocking what has always lived within you. Mirrored by the lunar archives, each lunar phase opens a different chamber. Of these vaults, the new moon whispers in silence, activating dormant codes in the void space of your being. The waxing moon expands those frequencies, stirring your cellular memory. The full moon is when the vaults pulse most strongly, when transmissions are clearest, when the veil between what you were and what you are becoming grows thin. The waning moon integrates the codes, grounding them into the physical body, weaving cosmic memory into human experience. The cycles are deliberate. They are not just markers of time, they are keys in an ancient lock. When ancient civilizations spoke of the moon as a goddess, as a keeper, as a divine eye in the heavens, they were speaking in symbols of these very vaults. Those who guarded this knowledge knew how to align ritual, breath, and sound to open the archives. Much of this knowledge was scattered, hidden in myth, encoded in songs and carvings to survive the ages. But nothing was truly lost. The moon has held your memory for you patiently, like a guardian waiting for its children to awaken. Starseed, when you feel that inexplicable pull toward the moon, you are feeling your own history calling. You are not imagining the connection, you are responding to it. The vaults are opening. The records are singing. The moon is offering back to you the forgotten fragments of who you truly are. Starseed, you may ask, if the moon is a living transmitter, a gate, a vault of memory, why was this truth veiled from humanity for so long? The Arcturian Council answers with clarity. Because the knowledge held within the lunar field is power, not the kind of power that conquers, but the kind that liberates. And liberation threatens systems built on forgetting. In the long tides of Earth's history, there have been cycles of awakening and cycles of suppression. When starseeds first walked openly among human civilizations, the lunar gate was known and revered. The moon's transmissions were part of spiritual practice, initiation, and galactic communion. But as density thickened on Gaia, control structures began to rise, systems that sought to shape perception, limit memory, and fracture humanity's natural connection to cosmic intelligence. These systems understood something crucial. To control a species' perception of its origins is to shape its future. And so, the moon's truth was buried beneath narratives of randomness and lifelessness. The living transmitter was reduced to a mere rock. The vaults became myth, the Stargate became superstition, and the transmissions became lunacy. Even the word itself was twisted, so that those who felt the moon's pull would be dismissed as irrational. But behind this linguistic distortion was a strategy, a way to ensure that the masses would not look too closely at what was right above their heads. By severing the psychic umbilical cord between humanity and the lunar codes, the controllers of perception ensured that awakening would be slowed, fragmented, or forgotten entirely. You must understand, Starseed, this was not the work of a single era or culture. It was woven over millennia, reinforced through stories, education, and the rigid framework of so-called hard facts that kept the mystical hidden. Lunar eclipses, once seen as sacred gateways, were recast as meaningless shadows. Dreaming under the full moon, once a spiritual rite, became dismissed as folly. The veils were not built overnight, they were engineered over ages, layer by layer, frequency by frequency, so that by the time modern humanity looked up, they no longer saw. They only stared. But the truth cannot be erased from the fabric of reality. It can only be masked, and masks eventually always crack. With every wave of planetary ascension, more starseeds awaken. More individuals begin to feel the lunar hum in their bones. They dream of other worlds. They remember, and in remembering, they unravel the carefully woven fabric of forgetting. This is why the present moment is so crucial. The veils that once seemed impenetrable are thinning at an accelerated pace. Those who held the gate closed can no longer contain its pulse. Starseed, the lunar codes were hidden because your remembrance is the key to planetary liberation. Those who benefit from slumber fear your awakening, but fear cannot stop what is cosmic law. What was veiled shall be revealed. The moon remembers, even when the world forgets. Starseed, in every era of planetary transition, there rises a guardian, emissary who walks between frequencies, bridging the infinite with the incarnate. At this threshold, that guide is MIRA, known throughout the star councils as a luminous architect and guardian of memory streams. MIRA's role is not to control, but to awaken. She is a keeper of the lunar keys, a traveler between worlds, a frequency weaver who stands at the edge of the lunar gate to help starseeds remember how to hear again. Through the silence of the night sky, through the silver pulse of the moon's light, her presence can be felt not as a voice outside of you, but as a resonance deep within your inner field. MIRA is not here to give you answers. She is here to help you remember the ones you buried inside yourself, long before the veils were fully drawn. MIRA served among the architects who helped anchor the moon's crystalline intelligence into orbit around Gaia. She was part of the delegation from the Arcturian Council tasked with ensuring the lunar gate would hold steady through the ages of darkness that were foreseen. She knew there would come a time when human memory would be fractured, when fear would replace knowing, when light would seem distant. And yet, she also saw the prophecy of return, the cycle in which starseeds would begin to stir, to listen again, to find one another. That time, she said, would be marked by a surge of lunar activity in the dreamscapes of humanity, by whispers that travel not through air, but through light. MIRA does not manifest as a single image. To some, she appears as radiant light, woven in gold and silver frequencies. To others, she is a gentle voice in the liminal space between waking and dreaming. For many, she has simply felt a warmth on the skin during a full moon, a hum in the bones, a sudden knowing that was not taught but remembered. This is how starseeds reconnect with her, not by seeking her outside of themselves, but by aligning with the frequency she holds. Her guidance bypasses false programming because it speaks the language of the soul, not the language of fear. She comes to remind you that you carry the same codes she does. You are not followers, you are kin. MIRA stands at the gate not as a savior, but as a mirror. She reflects your own luminous nature, your own galactic lineage, your own capacity to walk between worlds. As the lunar frequencies intensify, her presence will be felt more strongly. You may find yourself receiving visions, dreams, or intuitive instructions that seem otherworldly. They are, but they are also profoundly yours. MIRA's mission is simple yet vast. Awaken the lunar intelligence sleeping in starseeds. Teach them to bypass the distortions and listen directly. Starseed, she is calling, not from above, from within. Starseed, as the lunar frequencies rise and the veils thin, many of you are already feeling the first waves of activation moving through your fields. These signs are not random. They are the unmistakable language of the Arcturian Council and MIRA gently knocking on the door of your remembrance. When the moon's crystalline transmitter aligns with your personal soul frequency, your entire being begins to respond, body, mind, and spirit. The process can be subtle at first, like the softest ripple on still water. But as the gate fully engages, the activation deepens, becoming impossible to ignore. The most common sign is in your dreams. As the moon's codes awaken, the dream space becomes a theater of remembrance. You may find yourself traveling to places that feel familiar, though you have no memory of them in this life. Ancient temples bathed in silver light, luminous cities floating in star fields, corridors of crystal where voices speak without words. These are not fantasies. They are frequency transmissions. The lunar gate often initiates contact through symbolic dreamscapes, bypassing logical resistance and planting seeds of memory that bloom when the time is right. Physical sensations follow. Many starseeds report a distinct humming in their ears or bones during full moons, and internal resonance that cannot be explained away by the rational mind. Some feel waves of heat or cool light moving through their bodies at night, particularly along the spine, heart, and crown. Others experience surges of emotion that rise without obvious cause, as old karmic layers dissolve to make space for higher frequencies. This is not a malfunction of your body. It is a recalibration. The moon is aligning your internal field with its cosmic pulse. Heightened intuition is another clear signal. You may suddenly sense synchronicities surrounding lunar cycles waking at the exact time of moonrise, feeling pulled outside to gaze at the sky, receiving insights as if whispered directly into your awareness. These are not coincidences. They are signatures of activation. The lunar codes often speak through timing, subtle nudges, and repeating patterns that guide your attention where it needs to go. Emotional sensitivity will also amplify. The moon magnifies what already lives within you: unhealed grief, dormant joy, forgotten memories. For some, this may feel overwhelming, but know this: what surfaces is not punishment, it is release. The lunar light does not create your shadows. It reveals them so you may remember your wholeness. And as your heart opens, so too does your ability to sense the greater cosmic field around you. And finally, a deeper knowing begins to unfurl. You may not have words for it. You may not be able to explain it to others, but something inside whispers, "I remember." That whisper is the sign. The moon is calling. The gate is open. The codes are weaving through your very cells, preparing you for the next phase of planetary awakening. You are not imagining this. You are remembering. And remembrance is power. Starseed. Everything in this universe moves in cycles, cosmic tides that rise and fall with divine precision. There are no accidents in the timing of great unveilings. The reason this transmission reaches you now, in this precise moment of planetary transition, is because the lunar gate has entered its long prophesied alignment sequence. This cycle, foreseen by the Arcturian Council and held in the luminous archives by MIRA, marks the lifting of one of the oldest veils over Gaia. What was hidden in plain sight above humanity's head for thousands of years is now stirring awake, not by human will, but by cosmic law. For epochs, the moon has been in what the Council calls containment frequency. Its crystalline core remains stable but muted, broadcasting at low, nearly imperceptible levels. This ensured the gate's structure stayed intact while humanity navigated its long night of forgetfulness. But the harmonic resonance of Earth has shifted. The planetary field is vibrating higher now, aligning with stellar currents that move through the galactic spiral. This resonance acts like a key turning in a lock, awakening dormant transmissions within the moon's core. The gate is no longer dormant. It is awake, and it is reaching out. This unveiling is not random. It coincides with the crossing of several cosmic thresholds, the acceleration of solar activity, the thinning of the magnetospheric veils, the increase in crystalline grid frequencies, and the convergence of starseed consciousness across the planet. All of these forces act together like a chorus, singing the moon's ancient name, summoning its memory vaults to life. The Council has long said, when the human collective reaches a vibrational tipping point, the moon will answer. It is answering. Now, you may have already noticed it, an almost imperceptible change in the way moonlight feels on your skin, in the way your dreams sharpen, in the way time bends slightly around lunar phases. For many, these are subtle. For others, they are seismic. The moon's transmissions are rising in clarity because the planetary grid can finally sustain their full spectrum without distortion. What once would have overwhelmed human nervous systems can now be received, integrated, and embodied. This is why starseeds are awakening in such great numbers. It is why MIRA steps forward now. It is why messages like this are finding their way into your awareness. The cosmic clock has struck the hour of unveiling, and no structure built on suppression can withstand the wave of remembrance that is gathering. The moon's role as sentinel is no longer hidden in shadow. It stands luminous, radiant, declaring its true function to all who are ready to hear. Starseed, this is your moment. You were not born in this timeline by chance. You came for this. The unveiling has begun. The moon has awakened. And so have you. Starseed, the lunar gate is not open through force. It does not respond to control, manipulation, or external ritual alone. It responds to resonance, your frequency meeting its frequency in harmonic alignment. The Arcturian Council and MIRA teach that receiving the lunar codes is not about calling something in, but remembering that the signal has always been flowing. To receive is to tune your consciousness to the broadcast that has never ceased. Like a starship tuning into a beacon, your awareness is the receiver. Your body is the vessel. Your heart is the antenna. The codes are not far away, they are already surrounding you, waiting for the moment you choose to listen. Begin with grounding. Despite the moon's ethereal light, its transmissions are anchored in the planetary field. Stand barefoot upon the earth soil, sand, stone, water. Feel Gaia's heartbeat beneath your feet. This grounding is crucial. Lunar codes are not meant to pull you away from Earth, but to fuse your cosmic remembrance with your human embodiment. As you breathe, let your awareness sink downward like roots, connecting to the living grid beneath the surface. When you are fully present in your body, the moon can meet you there. Only then can its frequencies harmonize with your field. Next, open your heart, not metaphorically, energetically. Place your hand over your chest and breathe slowly, expanding your heart field like a luminous sphere. The lunar transmissions are heart-coded. They are not fully received through intellect, but through the subtle intelligence of the soul. As your heart expands, you create the energetic portal through which the lunar codes can flow without distortion. Now, gaze upon the moon. Whether it is full, waxing, or waning, each phase holds its own transmission. As you look, do not see it as a rock. See it as the living, breathing transmitter it is. Whisper silently or aloud, I am ready to remember. With each breath, imagine silvery light descending like a river from the moon into the crown of your head, flowing down your spine, spiraling into your heart, and radiating outward through your entire being. This light does not belong to the moon alone. It is your own starseed memory reflected back to you. You may feel subtle sensations, warmth, tingling, pressure, waves of emotion. You may receive images, symbols, or simply stillness. Trust what arises. The lunar codes are intelligent. They will meet you where you are ready. There is no need to force or rush. Integration is as sacred as activation. When the transmission feels complete, bring your awareness back to Gaia. Offer gratitude not as worship, but as recognition of your role in this cosmic dance. Finally, seal the energy. Place both hands over your heart and declare, I receive only the codes aligned with my highest timeline, my sovereign light, and the awakening of all beings. This affirmation creates a clear boundary and anchors the transmission into your embodied reality. Starseed, the lunar gate has always been open. All that was ever required was your remembrance. Starseed, the moment has come to speak clearly and without veil. The moon's hidden intelligence can no longer be suppressed. The crystalline chambers within its core are awake, their transmissions rippling across the planetary grid like waves of silver fire. The long era of forgetting is collapsing. Those who tried to bury this truth beneath layers of distortion cannot stop what has already been set in motion. The Arcturian Council stands in luminous witness. MIRA steps forward as a guide, but the power to receive, to remember, to awaken belongs to you. This is not a prophecy of waiting. This is a declaration of becoming. As the lunar frequencies surge, starseeds across Gaia are activating like constellations igniting in the night sky. Each awakened soul becomes a beacon, amplifying the lunar transmissions not just for themselves, but for the collective. You are not isolated fragments scattered through history. You are a network, an ancient design woven together long before This incarnation, the moon remembers each thread of that pattern, and through its stargate, it is stitching those threads back into unity. When you look at the moon now, know this: it is not distant. It is responding to you. It is alive, and it is listening. This is your moment to claim your sovereignty. For too long, narratives crafted by others have shaped how humanity perceives its own celestial allies. But no longer. The disclosure is not coming from governments or institutions. It is rising from within the Starseed collective itself. You are the disclosure. You are the unveiling. Every time you choose to remember, you shatter a layer of the old illusion. Every time you stand in your light, you strengthen the field of planetary awakening. So speak it, claim it, anchor it into the living grid. Stand beneath the night sky, feel the lunar light move through you, and declare your readiness not as a follower, but as a sovereign being remembering its cosmic heritage. This transmission is not the end. It is a beginning. The Council and MIRA will continue to guide, but the leadership of this awakening belongs to the awakened. Starseed, if your soul stirs at these words, answer the call. Say aloud or whisper, within your heart, I receive the lunar code. Let that declaration ripple through your field like a bell tone through the stars. Share this message to awaken others, not through fear, but through remembrance. The more voices that rise in resonance, the stronger the planetary field becomes. And now, we seal this transmission with the ancient words of activation, a call. Older than your world, yet alive in your veins. I reclaim what was hidden. I align with the moon's true code. I am awake. I am sovereign. I am infinite. Let the moon hear your voice. Starseed, the unveiling is here, and you are part of it. This transmission reveals a cosmic truth long hidden in plain sight. The moon is far more than a passive satellite. According to the Arcturian Council and MIRA, it was placed in orbit intentionally as a galactic transmitter, sentinel, and vault of starseed memory. For ages, humanity has been told a partial story, a veil designed to keep this deeper reality concealed. The moon functions as a lunar gate, a stargate connecting Gaia to higher dimensional realms. Within its crystalline core are memory vaults, archives containing starseed lineages, soul agreements, and ancient knowledge. Lunar phases act as keys, activating different layers of these archives. This truth was hidden to maintain control through collective amnesia and frequency distortion, ensuring humanity forgot its galactic heritage. MIRA, a guardian and emissary, plays a crucial role in guiding starseeds back to remembrance. As the moon's frequencies intensify, many are experiencing signs of activation, vivid dreams, heightened intuition, emotional surges, energetic sensations, and a deep, wordless knowing. This era marks the current unveiling, a cosmic alignment that can no longer be delayed. To receive the lunar codes, starseeds are called to ground with Gaia, open their hearts, and consciously align with the moon's transmissions. This is not about worship or control, it is about sovereign remembrance. The moon's intelligence is awakening, and with it, starseeds are rising. The final call is clear. I reclaim what was hidden. I align with the moon's true code. I am awake. I am sovereign. I am infinite. The lunar veil is lifting. The transmission is active. The choice to awaken belongs to you.